Hello everyone, I hope you are having a great day. It is the Bookatarian here for another tag video. Today I thought, since it was becoming a lot more popular around this time of year, since it is halfway through the year 2020, that I would do the mid-year book freakout tag. Alright. So, question number 1 is the best book you've read so far this year, and for that I picked Red Nation by Justina Ireland. This book was just a good combination of everything that I enjoy. It has romance, but it doesn't take over the entire plot of the story. It has really good representation. It has a lot of good action scenes that make the pacing flows well. Question number 2. Okay, so question number 2 is the favorite sequel you've read so far, and I don't have a physical copy of this book to show, but it was Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. Is probably my favorite sequel of all time, let alone one that I've read this year. So that one. So question number 3 is favorite new release that you haven't gotten to yet. And I don't have that many new releases physically owned on my shelves right now, but one that I do have that I think is kind of a relatively new release is Burn by Patrick Ness. I haven't read any of his books, so he will be a new-to-me author this year if I do get to it. Question number 4 is the most anticipated release of the second half of the year, and for this I obviously don't have a physical copy of it as well, but it is The Captive Kingdom by Jennifer A. Nielsen. That comes out sometime in October, and it's the 4th book / continuation of the series, the Ascendant Prince series. It's a continuation off of that. So, question number 5 is the biggest disappointment of the year so far, and for that one, that is, to no surprise of anyone who's watched my reading vlogs, of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. It was so generic, I guess. I was expecting it to be really unique because it's female-female romance. The representation is good, but the story was just super predictable and wasn't original. So this was my biggest disappointment, although it was only given 3 stars, so I mean, it could be worse. I'm lucky that I haven't had a bigger disappointment this year, thankfully. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise of the year, and for Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. It's probably not very well known, but I have been so convinced for a long time that I would not like Colleen Hoover, just because I'm not the biggest romance fan, and also she dabbles more in new adult and adult contemporary romance, and so I'm like, I was at the time a bit immature, and it didn't, contemporary romance adult genre did not appeal much to me. But I went into this book with very low expectations, and I enjoyed it a heck of a lot more than I thought I would. So question number 7 is a favorite new to you or favorite debut author of the year. And for this one, my answer, oh my goodness. Okay. So for this question, I chosen again Jennifer A. Nielsen. She is an author that I've read only for the first time this year, and I really enjoyed all of the books that I've read of her so far, so needless to say, she's probably well on her way to being one of my new favorite authors of all time. So question number 8 is your favorite new crush, and for this one I chose Sven, the second prince of Clareness from the manga series called Snow White with the Red Hair. He is literally perfect. He does have some flaws, but he's just literally as perfect as a prince could get for being a love interest. As a prince, he's super down to earth, and he's very adventurous, and he's very loyal to his people. He wants to do right by them all the time, and he's very compassionate to his friends, as shown in the romance developed in that series. I highly recommend you watch the anime too, by the way. It's super good. It has 2 seasons, which is more than a lot of anime can say for themselves. Question number 9 is new favorite character. And for that, I have Harper from A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I know it doesn't have the book jacket on. I've misplaced it, and I cannot for the life of me figure out where it is. This book is by Bridget Kemmerer. Yeah, Harper is just super spunky, and she's got, what is it, cerebral palsy, I think? Or I think that's what it is. So she's a disabled character, very well represented, I think, and she just reacts so relatably to this new world that she's thrown into. For those of you who don't know what this is about, Harper, who lives in Washington, D.C., gets kidnapped and taken into a fantasy realm that has been placed under a curse, and she is the only one who can help break the curse on that fantasy realm. And it's a retelling of Beating the Beast, and just overall a very, very good book. I didn't love Ren so much, but Harper is obviously my favorite character of the year so far. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry, right? Yeah. And that one is Never Fall Down by Patricia McCormick. This book is about a boy who lives in Cambodia during the whole, I guess, Civil War, kind of. If you've seen the movie called The Killing Fields, you know a little bit more about it, but it's basically about the Cambodian genocide. And question number 11 is a book that made you laugh. And this one is a pretty recent read, actually. It is Bull by David Elliott. It is a retelling of the myth of the Minotaur in verse, and it's retold as a comedy instead of a tragedy. And this just, obviously, it made me laugh so much just thinking about it. I just finished this like last week, or maybe even a few days ago. But it's very amusing because it's a comedy. So question number 12 is the favorite book to movie or TV show adaptation of the year. And for this one, I've only actually seen one that I can recall being an adaptation in any way. I haven't been watching TV and movies a lot this year, at least not new ones. It's mostly just me rewatching stuff. So when I discovered via a friend recommending this movie to me, it was made on Netflix, one of the Netflix original movie adaptations of A Silent Voice, and I'm actually not entirely certain if the movie is an adaptation of the manga or if the manga was made because of the movie, as an adaptation of the movie. Either way, I enjoy the manga, and I really enjoy the movie that is titled with the same title as well. And question number 13, which is the most beautiful book you've bought this year. And for that, I have Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. And now the book jacket is, it's okay. It's alright. There are more beautiful book jackets, but the book itself is gorgeous, and it's like, I love glossy books like this. Oh, it's so beautiful, and even the spine is gorgeous. It's so pretty. Alright, and the last question is 6 books that you hope to read before the end of this year. And for the first one I'm currently reading, it's the Master's Edition of Fairy Tale Volume 2 by, oh my gosh, Hiro Mashima. I should know his name by heart by now, but I don't. Hiro Mashima. I've watched the entire fairy tale show, so now I want to read all of the manga and just, compare in a very lighthearted way. So yeah, I've started reading this. I'm like 100 pages in of the 1,000 pages that are in this book, and the third volume which I also have and would hope to finish this year too. But I just thought I'd include this one on this list. And the next book is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This book has been out for several years, I think, at least 2 years now, maybe even 3. I'm not entirely certain. But I loved everything I've read by Marissa Meyer so far. The next book is Aurora Rising by, oh my goodness, Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I believe this is the author duo that co-authored the Illuminae trilogy. Is that right? Chris, I don't know. One of them, at least, were responsible for Illuminae, which I loved a lot. And I've heard a lot of good things about Aurora Rising, and now that I own it, I can read it. The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, which is another one that has been out for a long time, and I've owned it actually for over a year, I think. And the next one is The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This thing is huge, and again, adult fantasy, but my entire family has basically read the first 2 books of this series, which is very rare for them to all have read the same amount of the same book series and be very interested in it. Oh gosh, this thing is so heavy. But yeah, it's huge. It's a chunker. You can see why I haven't read it yet. The last book is Moxie by, gosh, what is her name? Jennifer Mateo? Yeah, I've had this book for a while too, and I'm a very big fan of feminist books, so again, I'm not really sure why I haven't read this book. It's, as far as I know, it's young adult, and it's come highly recommended. I should have read it by now, but and that is the end of this video today. I hope you all have a very good day, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye!